Time to connect to Congress, a segment where we talk directly to Washington lawmakers who represent us here in the San Joaquin Valley. Right now, we're talking with Democratic Representative of California's 21st Congressional District, Jim Costa, live from Washington, D.C. Congressman Costa, thank you for taking the time for us today.
Well, thank you, Kim. As I say, it's always great to be on Great Day, and we're really very pleased to have you back on our morning news show. You do a terrific job.
Thank you, Congressman. I appreciate your time and your well wishes. Since we spoke with you early in July, what have you been working on?
Well, a host of issues. Obviously, it's important that we get some balance as it relates to these tariff issues. I've maintained that only on exceptions should we implement tariffs to resolve our trade differences, because there are attacks on American consumers, there are attacks on our agricultural producers as well, and manufacturers. And by the way, other countries, as we see, can retaliate, and that makes a tariff war that no one wins. In addition, I think the Constitution is very clear, and the court has just ruled that tariffs are the responsibility of the Congress. Under checks and balances, the Constitution is very clear on this, unless you can evoke an emergency requirement, which the President did. But there is no emergency in this case. And therefore, I think it's important that we get a balance. It's important. 44% of California's agriculture is exported, and there's a lot of question marks on whether or not we can compete in these markets today. In addition, we're working on rural water, and we're also working on immigration issues.
Okay, so let's go to at least one of those right quick, and that is new data showing that more than 1 million immigrants have left the labor force this year, not just all in California, but around the country. And that really did hit industries like farming and construction pretty hard. So what is Congress doing or can do or talking about doing to offer these industries experiencing such a loss in the workforce?
Well, we can offer a balance, and we ought to begin with immigration reform. The President has done a good job in getting our border issues under hand. But clearly, for 70% of California's agriculture, as you pointed out, are involved in putting food on America's dinner table, and they are undocumented. And therefore, we need to pass the Farm Worker Modernization Act that will legalize that workforce, and also in the hospitality industry as well, I would say, and construction. Clearly, these are important jobs, highly skilled jobs, and we need to have a reliable workforce. And we can do that if we pass the Farm Worker Modernization Act, which is bipartisan. So, we have an issue right now where the facility in Bakersfield, where in June had 53 people detained, there are now 385 people detained as of my visit last week. We have a gentleman who's general manager at Pismo's restaurant, Sam Bepor, who I think is being detained in a way that doesn't comply with the current law. And he has a family. He came to this country when he was 3 years old. He's, in essence, a dreamer. They would not allow me to see him. I asked the people there at administration, how many of the 385 are here because of criminal activities, and how many of them here are being detained because their legal status is in question? They could not answer that question. And I think we're going to continue to try to do everything we can to get Sam Bepor a hearing, and to make a distinction between those criminal activities and those people who have been here working for 10, 15, 20 years or more, in the case of Sam, whose legal status needs to be addressed.
Yeah, they are saying that it has to do with something, a crime from when he was 18, but that had already been taken care of. But we have just shy of a minute left, and I need to ask you, Congressman, what is your reaction to President Trump's revoking of Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection, and do you believe she'll be running for president?
Well, the second part of your question is I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows. That's a long ways off, over 3 years from now. But as it relates to her protection and the protection of other people, whether they be in the Republican or Democratic administrations who held high positions, who had constant threats on their lives, I think that needs to be carefully evaluated. I mean, I know of secretary, cabinet members of both political parties that have required certain Secret Service protection because there have been threats on their lives both here at home and abroad. And I think that needs to be very carefully considered when we revoke any protection for Americans who have served their country.
Okay. Congressman Jim Costa, thank you very much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, always.
Great day. We'll be right back.